All right, can everyone hear me? If you can just raise your hand, that would be awesome. Just let me know. All right, perfect. All right, so I am totally psyched to be here tonight. I always want to just say thank you for taking time out of your night. And if you're listening to this tomorrow morning, I like to listen to webinars and podcasts and all stuff like this at like the crack of dawn when I'm doing my work. So if you're listening to this tomorrow morning, rock it out. We're going to talk about how to create a killer work with me. I'm seeing this way too much, and I'm hearing from way too many coaches because I get to talk to them every day. Coaches who are telling me that they not only have bought my programs, but they've bought every other program out there. And they're not either making money, or they don't know how to package them, or they don't know how to package their work with me. And that has to end. Or the new one is that they've signed up for the next like seven, figure course, or the next business course, or lots of masterminds are going on right now. And we're also going to talk about that tonight. But the whole problem is if you're not making money, yes, you're not paying your bills, but you're also not helping people. And that was the whole reason why you got into doing this. So that's a big problem, and that's something that we've got to fix tonight. So my name is Rachel Feldman. I am a health coach. I do have a practice. I do see people. So I don't just business coach, and I don't just write programs. And I don't just, run, different masterminds and stuff like that. I have clients, and that's very important to me because, I have my own health issues, and I got into this because of my own health issues. And I always promised that, I would stay doing this because I never want somebody to feel the way that I feel, even with, having like an autoimmune and Lyme's. And, there are days that, what worked for me one day doesn't work for me the next. And I want to be able to share that and pay that forward always in my day-to-day practice. I'm a detox specialist. I did go to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. Many of you have, and many of you have not. I have lots of coaches and wellness coaches and fitness coaches who buy down for you programs. They've gone to many other schools. I additionally went to 3 different detoxification schools after, because I realized, wow, it is so not just the food on our plate. It's not just the emotional work, which I went to Reiki school level 1 and 2, but it is that we really live in such a toxic world. So even if you're like eating all organic food, never put nail polish on, wearing all organic makeup, doing every detox tool in the world, we're just breathing. And so that was really important for me, coming from a family with, learning disabilities and my own, and toxicity and, cancer and, just a lot of just health issues that have cascaded in my family. So that's also an important part of my practice and my system as well. And that's also what we're going to talk about in our work with me is, what is your system? I'm a business coach. I do work with coaches. I always say I become your business partner. That is my goal, is to help you shine in the way that other coaches help me to shine. I'm a proud mama, proud wife, and a 6-figure business owner. And I say that, each business that I've created always has come out to that. But I say that because it is possible. And you'll see this in different forums, all forums across on Facebook, you'll see coaches say, is this really possible to do this if you're just a coach? I see a lot of people who turn into virtual assistants, who turn into business coaches. Making 6 figures or doing anything in any business is possible no matter what, bottom line. I've done this in any business I've done. And it takes hard work, and it takes clear messaging, and it takes packaging your programs. It takes understanding marketing. It takes understanding how to speak to your very community. That's really it. So, it's interesting. I was seeing in one of the forums today, somebody asked about, marketing, and they said, I hate marketing. And somebody else said, look at marketing as a way for you to communicate to your client. And they said, I'm just tired of marketing. And, the thing is that I don't think any of us, myself included, anticipated that I would go to nutrition school and have to learn all of this marketing, especially 6 years ago. There wasn't as much marketing as there is now. There wasn't this push for online. You didn't need to understand the daily changing of Facebook, the daily changing of social media in general, Blab or Snapchat or Periscope or Pinterest, or, you didn't need to study it as much. You just needed to kind of put yourself out there and show up and get people to get to know you. Now, I do believe it's a more competitive market because of those, and that is really great. And because of that, you do need to market yourself in a different way, especially if you do want to build an online presence. So don't be tired of marketing, or don't, wonder how to actually create this great work with me. Instead, that's why we're going to talk about it tonight. I see too many coaches who actually have, work with me pages who aren't working for them. And when I say that, it's that 2 50-minute sessions with handouts, and let's be honest, like, every person's website says that. And cookie cutter stuff doesn't really work. And cookie cutter doesn't mean that you're cookie cutter. It just means that the words that are right there are not necessarily working for you. They're not screaming out, hey, this is what I do, so come and hire me, compared to, the $19 book that Mark Hyman or JJ Virgin is pushing. So what's going to get you hired over somebody else going and buying a $19.99 book? And also, is your Work With Me page really screaming to your niche? Hey, contact me because I'm your person. I think what was so fortunate about me having a website in the beginning of my career that wasn't so nicely designed is that I had to dig so deep into what was my niche, what was my message, how to speak to that community that I was serving, because there wasn't this beautiful website that I was working on. I couldn't rely on these beautiful pictures. I wasn't really good at graphics. I didn't know about PicMonkey, or Canva wasn't around at that time. Animoto wasn't around at that time. In the beginning of my career, there wasn't really anything except YouTube. And if you were a graphic designer, great, but I did not have even skills to make anything look nice. So I had to really rely on the words and my Work With Me. So what are the mistakes I see too often, especially on a Work With Me page? So even tonight, if you have a website, I want you to even look at it now. So maybe you're on the computer, or you're doing this, or maybe you can open another screen, or I want you to even see your website. If you're in the midst right now of creating your website, awesome. If you just create it and you feel like, oh shit, I've made the mistake, don't worry, it's cool. Don't have a heart attack. This is just about a learning lesson and things that I've learned over time. I'm still learning. The mistakes that I see is that people offer too much. I'll see, I've even done this myself, and I've had to go back and detox my site. Don't think that somebody is going to hire you because you're offering 7 programs. Don't think somebody is going to offer you because you are, you're offering like 6 different offerings on one page. So make your Work With Me, think of it as a page where you really want somebody to come and have a clear understanding of what you offer, how are the ways that they can work with you. You don't need to have your online programs on your Work With Me page. Your Work With Me page, they should really land and get to this place and know, can they work with you in a single session? Are you only working with them in a 3 month, a 6 month? And then how to contact you. Some people like to put prices, and this is where you really want to get into, testing out, beta test and see, does it work for you to have the price there for, a monthly offering? Does it work with you to have a 3 month? And how do you really make that Work With Me page pop? Well, this is the thing. What's missing? Too often I see that on that page, you're not speaking to your niche. So we'll get there in 1 second. Speaking, when you're actually on your Work With Me page, packaging your Work With Me page, instead of just saying 2 50-minute sessions, think right now, what could you actually say that would speak to your niche? So if you have your specific client, what are their wake-up problems? Who are those people? If you're working with moms, don't just say, I work with moms, who want to lose weight and want to feel balanced. That doesn't mean anything, correct? You can raise your hand, you can say yes, you can scream in your office, or you can scream in your home right now. What is a mom really dealing with? A mom is dealing with that we're tired. A mom is dealing with that we feel pulled in every different way, especially if we own our businesses. We feel like we have bags under our eyes. Not feel, we look and we see, oh shit, I have bags under my eyes. We, feel that we're not pretty, even though we are. I mean, moms have insecurities. So what can you actually say on your page? What are those 10 key words you need to use? Well, if you're working with moms that need to get their mojo back, it's, do you feel like you're waking up and you're still exhausted? Do you not feel pretty enough? Or do you feel like your pants aren't really fitting and you want to get into those white, sexy jeans before April? Really speak to your niche. And so when you're on your Work With Me page, you can say, I work with women who are in their 30s, who are looking to find that inner sexy again, who want to revitalize that part of themselves that they lost when they birthed their children. And so I help you to find the exact plan when we work together during our month of, and insert exactly what you're going to give them. So I give you, a signature plan, and I give you handouts, and speak to them and speak in that I give you. So really get specific when you're speaking to your niche on what problem are you solving? What does it look like? And what 10 keywords? So if it's not moms that you work with, but say it's autoimmune like me, do I always need to say digestion, autoimmune, fatigue, chronic fatigue, bloating, detoxification, parasites, candida, viral load? I mean, I know the words. I could actually say about 100 words that consistently I need to say. Because just like I said to a client yesterday, I said, you know what? Anybody who I deal with who has autoimmune knows this to be very true. You have one good day, and then the next may not be as great. And I always say to my husband, or even to my assistant who, hears me a lot, I'll say, if I push it just too hard on one day, the next day, I may just not be feeling so great. And that's somebody who really knows about an autoimmune. So if I say to somebody, I will help you learn strategies, because there is no one magic bullet for an autoimmune, but I'll help you to learn how to emotionally deal with it, how to physically, and I'll also be there for you. So that person knows on my Work With Me page, or on my story, or when I get them on the phone for a health history, that I'm their girl. Does that make sense to everyone? So get to know your audience, because when you're doing your Work With Me page, if you don't know your audience, how are you going to offer them anything? So we go back to that thing about offering too much. I see so many times that somebody either is not clear. I offer a single session, then I offer 3 months, and I offer 6 months. Then there's another program. Make sure your Work With Me page is streamlined. And also in your Work With Me page, and a lot of coaches who buy programs from me, I always say, take those programs and infuse them into your Work With Me. It doesn't mean that you need to offer a paleo program on your Work With Me page. But on your Work With Me page, and we'll get to this in one of the slides, it can say, when you sign up with me, you get my signature grain-free program because I work with women who have hormonal issues, because I work with people who have digestive issues, and going grain-free has been great for me. So get to know what your audience needs so that you can offer those free events, those teleclasses and webinars that people need to attend, so that when you bring them to your Work With Me page, all of a sudden, either they're opting in, at the bottom, or either they're signing up for a free strategy call because you've really spoken to them on that Work With Me page. And remember, the moment that they hit your page, that opt-in, which should be in that top right corner, and if you don't have a website right now, your opt-in is that first sneak peek of who you are. So even if it's an opt-in that comes from someone else, and I work with tons of coaches who they say, I don't have the time to edit this, or I don't know what to say in it. I'm like, don't worry, just literally save it as a Word document, and let's get it into PDF, and let's work more on the follow-up email. Let's work less on the documents and more on your marketing, and more on your story, and more on your Work With Me, more on, hosting a free event or a class, and less on so much of these programs, because that's where people really get to know you. So when you're packaging your Work With Me, you're really packaging yourself. And I want you to even think, and this is often what we don't, would you sign up for a 6-month program? Would you sign up for a 3-month program? Would you sign up for a 1-month program? Would you do a single session? I can't tell you how many times I've worked with coaches who say, I don't have any clients, or I'm having a really tough time signing up for, clients signing up for a 3-month program. And I say, well, have you thought about offering a single session? They're like, well, that is not going to give me longevity in my practice. And I'm like, no, it's not, but it's the same way as building a sales funnel. A gateway program gives you the same thing as a single session does. Somebody says, oh, I'm going to take this person out for a test drive. So in your Work With Me, we know a single session doesn't necessarily, do anything magical. I mean, it may be great for touching base on like weight loss and going over a weight loss plan, or maybe even going over and doing, I love, ripping out, the cabinets and doing like a kitchen makeover. It may be awesome for my favorite, doing like a shopping tour in Whole Foods and going over somebody's food, or talking about like an allergy elimination or personalizing a detox. Great for a single session. Are we talking about like major long lasting results? No, we aren't. But not everyone wants to sign up for 3 months because either they don't trust, you haven't built the trust, maybe they can't commit, or they're not that committal type, but you'll get them in the door. Or maybe you're the person that wants to have a single session and a 1 month. Or maybe you want to have a 1 month and offer 3 months. So really think about your Work With Me, and think about your perfect niche. If you don't know your niche, you may be feeling stuck too. So one of the things, and we can talk about the Healthy Hustle group coaching, is when I do the niche and pitch exercise, you can have a niche that you really want to, and I highly suggest that you pick your niche. You may not even know it. You can have sub niches within that niche, and then start to actually think, what message does each of that sub niche? So if you're a mom, or if you're a mom, what sub niches of those? Well, moms who work, moms who like to work out a lot, moms who don't have to work and work out, moms who feel really stressed, moms who have adrenal fatigue. If you have a niche that has digestion, well, you have sub niches. People with food allergies, people who want to detox, people who have digestion issues who are in their 30s and really work a lot and are stressed. You can get very, very niche specific and then pitch and get message specific for each. Because how many times do you get an email and you don't feel like that email marketing is specific to you? It didn't really speak to you. Well, it's because it didn't speak to then you being that person's niche. And there are a lot of people I stay on their emails just because I think they have great writing, but I'm not their niche. But I just think they have great, marketing and like to watch how they market. But really, I encourage you to go find people who are in your niche or other coaches or just people you want to follow and see how they write. Or just start writing to yourself because you are your niche. So often we don't go in and be health coaches. I wouldn't necessarily start coaching, even though I've had clients with cancer. But I'm not a cancer coach. I didn't go through cancer. I had two grandmothers with cancer. And so disease is, part of my family and stuff, but I didn't go through cancer. I've had friends with cancer. But that's not part of my story. My story is that, I had an autoimmune and, I birthed babies that was toxic. And, so many of you know my story. And many of you know my business story, where we financially lost everything. And so I had to build my business from the ground up. And so that's how I learned kind of the hard way to do a lot of these things. So as you sit there and you think about your Work With Me page, and you think about your niche and you think, why am I not getting those clients? It's usually that you're not speaking, or maybe you're just not going deep enough. And so often we are not going deep enough for somebody to really hear, why do they need to hire us? What part of that story that we have where we work with people with hormonal imbalances? Okay, so you work with people with hormonal imbalances. Why should I hire you and not Sarah Gottfried? Why should I go through your program and not Sarah Gottfried's program for, $187? Or why should I go through your program and not, somebody else's Hashimoto's program? Well, I will tell you very clearly, because I get the stinky thinking too. One, you are you, and you are magnificent in who you are, and nobody can be you. That's number one. Number two is that you need to get as ballsy and clear on your message as anyone else in these other names I've mentioned. Number three, your Work With Me and your homepage and what you do, your daily action, your social media, your messages, your Work With Me page, the programs you put out need to be clear and consistent. And it doesn't mean, again, that your Work With Me page can't say 2 50-minute sessions and handouts. But how much more powerful when you say you have 2 50-minute sessions, access to my signature digestive wellness handouts, access to my signature detox, my allergy elimination program, which these are actually all handouts I have, access to my gut rebuilding plans, unlimited emails and texts, recorded Skype calls, and detailed notes for you. And this is actually what I say to people. It's funny is that I do need to rework my Work With Me page. And I say it always to my awesome assistant, who's more of like my other half. But I always say, God, when we have a second and we're not working on everything else, I need to rework my Work With Me, because even more of what I say when I speak to people is not even there. Because that is what they get access to, which is why when somebody gets me on the phone, they end up hiring me, because I'm so clear on what they get from me. So when you're doing your work with me, whether it's a single session, this is why I always tell people, don't think of programs. Programs are just content. I actually had five conversations with coaches this week about programs. And I said, programs, they're really content. Anything you have is just content for you to soar on your site, on a blog, and also on up-leveling and upgrading your Work With Me page so that you stand out above the rest. Because there are a lot of coaches, there are a lot of fitness coaches, and it's needed. I mean, we're probably, the fact that we have commercials on TV for drugs that help you poop because you're on drugs that have you not pooping blows me away. So there are coaches that are needed, but we also need to make sure that your message is heard and it's heard very clearly. So a correct flow of a Work With Me page is, let's just say this is an example of 3 months to hormonal happiness. A 90-minute intensive followed by a 60-minute session 2 weeks later. So again, if you don't want to do the 90-minute, and I've played around with this over the years, I found that people really do the 2 15-minute check-ins, and I do them anyway. And that when I tell people that's what I do, they're much more inclined to want to sign up. And I also feel that it saves me time anyway. It saves a lot of time with back and forth emails to just know I'm checking in, especially when I sign on a new client and we're going through a lot of even changing probiotics, changing enzymes, changing anything, even just making emotional changes. I do check in with them. I want them to know that I'm there because I am there, and that's what I would have wanted. Same thing when I coach coaches. Sometimes I'll be like, are you there on Skype? Because something will come to me and I want to check in because that's what I want. I want support and accountability so that I don't feel anxiety. That's how I've always been. I am very happy and content. And so that is how we want our clients to feel. We want our clients to feel happy and content. So you can have a 90-minute, write this out. Actually, you guys will get this after too. Bonus, signature handouts, recipes make it niche specific again. We're going into that niche. Speak to who you are working with. And again, why are we giving them? Maybe it's not essential oils. Maybe you're with another company that has that you want to give them like a chaga boost, or maybe you want to give them, maybe you do a massage, or maybe you are a fitness coach. So you're giving them a bonus of like a 60-minute, fitness, or maybe you do online fitness or whatever you do. Maybe the bonus too is a 72-hour juice cleanse. It just makes it more appealing. And that is the biggest thing about having a killer Work With Me page. When your message is clear, you learn how to market like a mofo, like a frickin' pro. I mean, that's, people always say to me, did I go to school for marketing? Did I go to B school? They always ask me, what school did I go to? I'm like, I went to the school of hard knocks. That's what it was called. I study constantly how people market, and then I really put blinders on and I stay in my own lane, because if I start to look at too many other people, I get jacked up in my head. So when you market like a boss, you're sharing your experiences. That's it. Be really clear about that. You're sharing your wake-up problem and a solution. And you're relating it to your niche and your sub-niche. And don't just say, hey, sign up and get, my ebook. People don't just sign up for something. You need to be clear. And I went over this with a coach today. Don't just put a link to MailChimp or Aweber or Infusionsoft or, some other thing, or Entreport. Put the what, why are they signing up for this? Share some other cool, article from somebody else that you think is relatable or would be beneficial for your niche. Be somebody that is really there sharing great content, because again, when they go to land on your Work With Me page, they're going to see, wow, you know what? I really want to work with this person because this person helps me in this specific group. And so I'm going to sign up for a 15-minute strategy call, discovery call, etc., whatever you want to call it. And when they land on wherever they're landing, your Facebook page, your Instagram, your website, hopefully they're opting into something so they get an autoresponder from you that says, hey, I'm really glad that you decided to download X or get a strategy session with me because I work with people just like you, because I'm that person, because I know what it feels like to X, because one day in my life I was Xing, not that X, I was Xing and it felt like this. And it's not that, that life can be exactly perfect, but I know exactly where you are. And that's why I help people just like you. And I can't wait for our talk or for you to join my event or for you to be a part of my program, whatever that autoresponder was. Too often we don't know how to take that daily action. I had to call this week about tutoring for my daughter, and the woman said to me, we teach people, she's been so blessed to get, her mom is learning stuff. She said to me on the phone, we teach little ones how to take daily action and teach them a plan when it comes to learning. And I said, you know what? I'm so glad I'm talking to you because I wish I had that when I was little, because school was really, really hard for me. I was in the D group and it really took a toll on my emotions. And it really made me feel stuck when I was little. And, and in school and everything. And I knew I was smart in like a certain place in my brain, but I couldn't figure things out. So if you're feeling stuck and they can't figure things out, for some reason in business, and when I got out of school, it all just, came together. Real world made sense to me, such as Google Drive, business, Buffer, MailChimp, autoresponders, your opt-in freebie. I can't tell you how many coaches I know, not just about my programs, but other people's programs. And not just like one. They have, and if this is you, they have like 40 programs on their desktop, and they don't even know how to get them out of Dropbox. Or they've never downloaded one opt-in freebie because they don't even know how to get into MailChimp. They don't even know how to use Buffer and how to automate their life. Or they don't even know how to use autoresponders. So nobody is getting a program or a follow-up. They don't know how to do messaging or marketing or to stay up with Facebook. They don't know how to build their brand. So they want to be online, but they can't be because they're working a 9-to-5 job. They want to be online, but they've got kids at home. And so they're stuck. And that is the case for, I would say, the majority of coaches are in that position. And if they're not in that position, some aspect of that, whether it's, hey, I want to do a webinar, I'm not going to pay $100 for GoToWebinar, I want to know how to do a Google Hangout, or I just need a place other than, and one of my favorite forums is Freedom Hackers. I mean, honestly, I bow to Kimra Luna. Because I think that she has a place where she answers questions. She gives great information. But other than that, I don't think I'd go into any other forums except for my own. And because I need to have accountability, I need to have a place where I feel like there's a home and there's a mastermind and there's people that are all going towards the same income goal and can help each other. And so often coaches, we're not getting clients because we don't have accountability for our mindset, which our mindset is, I would say, 80% of our business. Yes, I would say, well, maybe 50, but 80%, like, for a lot of people, because you have, maybe tech is not taking you down, but you know that all the knowledge stuff. I mean, come on, most everyone knows the knowledge stuff about, health. There are few where I know, don't know what coconut oil is, and that's fine, but that's easy to learn. The accountability and the learning the tech stuff and all the other different moving pieces is what I see most coaches don't. So we're given, for most of us, a lot of different handouts here, do this, do that. And yet it's not necessarily working. And so the question is, are you getting clients, or do you want to get clients? Or are you in school right now and you want to set yourself up for massive success? Or do you want to know how to launch a challenge or launch your opt-in freebie so that you get 300 people on a list? Or do you want to know how to do an event and what are the right things to bring to an event and how to do an event, or how to market on, Facebook and do MailChimp without, having a massive heart attack? The answer is yes. So I find that most of us, including myself up to even a few years ago, we don't have that editorial calendar. We don't have that plan. We don't know how to organize. And we're shooting from the hip, which is fine. We have to shoot from the hip because we're trying to figure it out. But when we have a plan, that's when we get to a place where not only do we have success, but our business flows. Because when we have a plan, it makes sense from our sales funnel. It makes sense when someone lands on our Work With Me page, but they have to get into our opt-in to get to our Work With Me page. There also needs to be a plan from when you launch an opt-in to the follow-up, to when you're sending information about, a possible strategy session, maybe a program, planning if you want to do a launch, spring, or a launch post Valentine's, or even just how to plan your business and what you need to do on a daily basis so that you don't feel bogged down. The very same things that I did in the beginning of my business are the same things I do now. Yes, am I a little frantic sometimes? It's just kind of part of who I am, which is probably why I love Gary Vaynerchuk, is because he just says, you know what, if you can get past kind of my franticness in the beginning, great, you'll love me. I think that daily hustle and just lots of energy and excitement for what I do has allowed me to create a great business. But in that has to be organization and has to be a plan. Otherwise, great ideas fall to the wayside. And I've learned that. So you can take everything that you learned tonight, apply that to your Work With Me, make sure that your opt-in is in the right place, make sure that people know how to contact you. I hate when I go to sites. I see this all the time, and I remember actually a few people saying this to me. Hey, I go to your site and I want to contact you. I don't mind sending you an email, but sometimes I'm just busy, so can you put your phone number? So if you just learn anything tonight, it's make sure that if I'm even going to your site, let me definitely, put a phone number somewhere so I can contact you. So if I do contact you and I give you my email, great. You have my email so you can follow up with me and do all that kind of stuff. But if you want to really get organized, you want to really be supported, and I truly believe this, the reason I do this group coaching so cheap is that I really got so sad, actually, and so sick and tired of seeing coaches who didn't have that support, who didn't have that accountability that they really needed to be able to take their business to another level. So what you get for literally $179 is 4 interactive classes. We're doing 30-minute classes, and then we're doing additional hot seat classes as well. That will be announced when we're in the forum. Those are interactive classes where we cover how to do a webinar, how to do MailChimp, how to do an autoresponder, how to post on Facebook, what is the right way, of course, to post, We will also do question and answers. You can also see week by week when you look at the sales page exactly what we will be covering in those weeks, as well as this is a forum where I answer every question. I'm in there all the time. You also get a PowerPoint, you get an opt-in freebie. And the PowerPoint we're also going to show, which I see this everywhere, how to do this on Google Hangout, because the nice thing about Google Hangout is it's free. We will also be going over Zoom, because Zoom is a great way also to work with your clients if you're hosting a class and you want it to be you want to also just have great reception as well. So there are a lot of what I call specific questions: how to use Buffer, how to use Hootsuite, when to schedule your posts, what are the great subject lines, what are great tweets, how to tweet, how to use Instagram to really build your brand, Pinterest, like all of those things that we don't really talk about, how to do a Facebook page, how to do a business Facebook page, all of those kind of things. When do you post on a Facebook business page versus a personal page? How to build your brand, how to get known, where to actually post locally, where to post online. It's all the things that we cover, and also how to use your programs and how to build out your Work With Me page and how to go deeper into your About Me so that people actually know who you are. Cool thing is, when I woke up this morning, and many of you who know me know I'm just like this, I thought, you know what? Okay, we give you an editorial calendar, and that's actually what we spend pretty much week one on. And I always laugh because I always say these classes with like 30, 60 minutes, and then we even go over. We spend the whole first week just on planning our editorial calendar. So even if you're not launching, you still have to plan your calendar. You have to know what newsletters you're sending out, or what blogs you're starting. You have to know how you're going to start building your audience. Are you going to shoot YouTube videos, Vimeo? How are you going to do that? So I put together an editorial calendar this morning, like one that is very specific. If you were doing a challenge, if you were doing a teleclass, if you were doing a webinar, this is applicable to anything, a program, full launch calendar, editorial, everything from, emails to even sending out, doing your PowerPoint, to doing a class. So when you sign up in the next 48 hours, you would get access to that too. So this is Healthy Hustle Group Coaching. It's not just the one forum that you see when on Facebook. We have a free one that I love, which is just, live your healthy hustle and stuff. But this is really about understanding what is that daily healthy hustle. And let me see if I can even just pop this up right here. This is right here. You can even see everything. If you have questions, you can go right here and ask any questions. But you have 4 weeks, total accountability, and then tons of materials. I will also be adding additional materials. The cool thing that I saw that happened with this is that people who never even launched before, who had been buying season after season from not just me, but other people, have been in countless different masterminds and programs, actually launched their programs, actually figured out their niche, actually had their aha moments. You also get tweets, you get, subject lines. There's so much. I have email templates in there. Because what I believe is really when you have a community of people, you get the support that you need, and you are able to soar. So if this was me, I would do it, which is why I create these things. I always find that my business grows when I'm putting these, just like when I detox with my groups. I make major changes in my life. I also have like a week where I'm just crying because I'm shedding what's not serving me. I'm detoxing with my group. I'm changing with my group. And the same thing happens for these kind of masterminds. It's an opportunity, like I said, for less than 100, for 179, which is amazing, to get supported for an entire month, which means that you get to go into the spring with your editorial calendar plan. So whether you're an existing coach or a new coach, that is huge. So if you're sitting there saying, okay, do I have anything planned? How is my work with me? If you just wanted to come into this group and your whole intention was just to work on your work with me or about me, that's great. That's what you'll be working on. But there also is what I call the daily healthy hustle. And so there are daily tasks of what you can do. And if you're thinking, do I need to make the classes live to be able to take full advantage? It's always great to be on the classes live on Sunday night at 7. But if you have to listen to it the next morning and do your homework. Just like with anything in our business, the more we put into it, the more we get out of it, bottom line. So everything that I've learned is everything I share with you guys. And that's about it. So if I can recap tonight, it's make sure your work with me is working. Make sure you're not offering too much. Get clarity on your niche. Get support. I really believe that. When I've invested in my business, which is a lot, whether it's in masterminds like this, not only does this mastermind, like I said, give you an opt-in freebie and a PowerPoint, but when I get into a mastermind that also doesn't just throw me in a mastermind, but we do those interactive classes, that's how I learn. I'm a very visual person. So make sure that you are investing in your business, because that's the only way it's going to grow. Like I said, you deserve it. It's been amazing to be with you guys tonight. If you have any questions, you can go right to the sales page here. You can also find this right on my site at Rachel's Wellness. You can go to shop. If you have any questions also, you can email me at rachel@rachelswellness.com. And again, this opportunity for the extra editorial calendar will be available for the next 48 hours. So we are at, what day is it? It is January 28th. We officially start January 31st, but the forum is open. So if anyone buys, you'll be accepted right into the forum. There's also free pictures in there, tons of other goodies that I add there on a daily basis. But this, yeah, I think that's about it. All right, guys. Well, I love you all and have an awesome night. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to me and I will see you in the forum or I will see you on Facebook somewhere. All right. Take it easy. Bye, guys.